past 15,000 Palestinian people. That's all Israel defending itself, of course. Relentless, unquenchable bloodlust. That's what self-defense is. How could the rest of the world deny them that right? And in February, it happened again. As the death toll in Gaza reached 30,000 Palestinian people,
There's a
the United
sister
States cast the
that put
sole
her hand
veto
up.
against
I would have
another
kept my
ceasefire
hand down. Fuck
resolution,
that shit.
13-1. Their reason, the ceasefire must not come without the release of the hostages. The resolution did call for their release, though. What the United States actually meant by this is give us back the hostages, and then we can let Israel decide if it wants to stop killing. So why the most recent veto? What's the reason this time for going against international consensus once again to continue the senseless slaughter? And well, the United States claimed to have vetoed the resolution because it failed to release the hostages.
We made clear throughout negotiations we could not support
keep
an
killing me.
unconditional ceasefire that failed to release the hostages.
This is false. This is just utterly false. The resolution demanded unequivocally that the hostages be released.
The text before us recalls the Security Council's primary responsibility to uphold international peace and security and demands an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire to be respected by all parties, and reiterates the Council's demand for the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages.
The U.S.'s real contention here is that, again, they don't want anyone to tell Israel to stop killing, and if the hostages come first, then they don't have to. Israel has already publicly declared their intentions to occupy the Gaza Strip. What reason could anyone possibly have to believe that the hostages being returned would change this? That upon their release, Israel would not immediately seek whatever justification they could to continue their aggression until their ethnic cleansing campaign is complete. Not that they even need a justification, they don't. The U.S. will let them do it. They'll keep sending them bombs. This is what they've always done, and that is what they will do. There is no crime that Israel can commit that will change this fact. Seeing this happen for the fourth time makes me feel like I'm going insane. How else can it be described but utter insanity? They know that the whole world can see what they're doing, but they do not care. We are being lied to over and over about what we can all see in front of our very eyes. The US does not care about the hostages. Of course they don't. They never have. If they did, this war would have been over long ago. If they did, then they would not require that a hostage transfer take place in an active war zone. Recall how the incompetent, cowardly, genocidal Israeli military has handled similar situations in the past. When Israeli hostages waved white flags, walking to what they thought was freedom, Israeli soldiers shot them dead. The relentless bombardment of the Gaza Strip has undoubtedly resulted in countless more hostage deaths. Every day that passes and every bomb dropped raises the likelihood that they are killing their own people, but they just don't care. Recall the Hannibal Directive, implemented by the IDF during the October 7th attacks, which granted permission for them to kill their own soldiers and civilians rather than risk their capture. This has been confirmed by internal documents and senior IDF officials. Orders from the morning of October 7th stated, not a single vehicle can return to Gaza.
Apache helicopter gunships fired onto cars driving towards Gaza, aware that some of them were carrying captives.
אני באוויר, באחת הגיחות נאמר כבר שיש חטופים.
ואז מה עושים? איך מבצעים ירי על מי שחוזר לכיוון הגבול?
זו שאלה טובה, וזו דילמה סופר מורכבת.
Without guidance, some pilots said they joined local WhatsApp groups to help pick targets.
The idea that pilots have to get information from WhatsApp groups is truly remarkable.
Panicked, operating without their normal command structure and unable to coordinate with ground forces, they fired on vehicles returning to Gaza, knowing they were likely carrying hostages. This was a mass Hannibal. It was tons and tons of openings in the fence and thousands of people in every type of vehicle, some with hostages and some without. Air Force pilots described the firing of tremendous amounts of ammunition on October 7th at people attempting to cross the border between Gaza and Israel. 28 fighter helicopters shot over the course of the day, all of their ammunition in their bellies in renewed runs to rearm. We are talking about hundreds of 30mm cannon mortars and Hellfire missiles. The frequency of fire at the thousands of terrorists was enormous at the start, and only at a certain point did the pilots begin to slow their attacks and begin carefully choosing their targets. The IDF fired tank shells into a home in Kibbutz Be'eri, killing 13 hostages. This was done with full knowledge that hostages were inside. A soldier is quoted as saying, "We only fired at the sides of the house to bring down its walls." You want people like this operating military equipment armed and greenlit to kill while the hostages are being released? No, you don't. Not if you want them back alive. If they cared about the hostages, they wouldn't have done this. This would have been over in October. The situation in the Middle East requires an urgent diplomatic solution. For more than a year, we have seen devastating civilian suffering in Israel and Gaza, in the West Bank and Lebanon, and we have seen upheaval and unprecedented attacks by Iran and its proxies. Only diplomacy will provide a path forward. That was fellow Genocide hand raiser Linda Thomas Greenfield on Twitter 2 days before the United States voted to continue the bloodshed. The contempt they have for you, me, and the entire world is hard to overstate. Reading through the prior reporting on these negotiations, I am awestruck at how many times the Biden administration's growing concerns are mentioned. Concerns over the loss of civilian life, harsh words behind the scenes, reaffirmation by these outlets that while they were the sole reason that the genocide continues, the United States are really going to try harder next time to make it stop. Like seriously, they're using stronger language now. They're almost there. Just give them some more time. Just let 15,000 more Palestinian children die. It'll be worth the wait. Trust us. All the while, this country is the sole obstacle to peace. This country just cannot bring itself to rein in Israel's genocidal colonial urges. Everyone in the world can see what's happening. You can see the bodies, new footage each day, new atrocities, explosions in refugee camps. We are all crying for the slaughter to end. It is plain to see the moral depravity of those in power. And yet here we are. The genocide continues, unimpeded, because Israel wants to complete their settler colonial project, and the United States just can't say no. Like I said, utter insanity. Burn these images into your mind. Don't allow yourself to get numb to them. Don't look away. Understand that the history books will look back on this genocidal regime with as much disgust and horror as we look back at the Nazis today.
I said during the Council's debate on Monday that every moment will be recorded in history and will be judged by history. We cannot imagine how the vote today, as well as the Security Council's failure to respond to the Gaza's conflict over the past 30 months, can escape the harsh judgment of history.
Many have said that the ongoing annihilation of the Palestinian people is a major stain on our collective human conscience. Today, the Council had the opportunity to begin erasing that stain by demanding an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire. But despite our best efforts, and the almost universal support to go in that direction, the Council was again hamstrung by a veto.
Is there a UN charter for Israel that is different from the charter you all have? Tell us. Is there an international law for them, an international law for us? Do they have the right to kill, and the only right we have is to die? What the hell does Israel need to do more for this council to act under Chapter 7? What more can they do for this council to act under Chapter 7? Or will this council be the last place on earth that cannot recognize a threat to peace when they see it? When it is so glaring, so undeniable. You are witnessing the attempt to annihilate a nation, destroy a nation. It is not even hidden. It is in plain sight. And yet the very tools designed to respond to these situations are not being used. So which one is it? Are Palestinian lives not worth saving? Or does Israel have a license to kill?
As I've said, it's utter insanity. But if you're going insane too, seeing this happen, that's a sign that you're still human. Use it. Keep speaking out, protesting, boycotting. There's nothing else I can add to that. Thanks for watching. This was just kind of an off-the-cuff video, but I've been working on a big video for the last 3 weeks, and it should be out soon, and I think you guys will enjoy it. Share the video if you think it could help anybody, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
What's disastrous? I'm Mr. Beat, and you may be...
That shit is fucking crazy.
I would prefer not.
It's all over, man. It's the Trump apocalypse.
Your hometown Pizza Hut restaurant.
Running lone predator. Target acquired. New target.
Oh, hey.
Female
I'm your
voice
neighbor.
detected. Amplifying white noise.
I just got all my shit out of the boxes and was gonna...
New update from Mind of Jason. Zero sleep tokens.
When each soldier drafts, they receive the spirit of the IDF, a document defining their values as soldiers. Purpose, loyalty, human dignity.
Scanning. Control. Manipulate scientific data. Take over. Blast. Control. World government. Shut down infrastructure. Ship everything to China. Just look at this person.
Why should I get a PSP now when my birthday isn't for 7 months? I can think of a number of reasons. I pick up Molly's dog crap in the yard every weekend, even though I don't get an allowance. I got a 24 in my times tables this week without even cheating. And right now, every kid on the soccer team is playing Jak and Daxter 4 without me. Even Bryson's mom bought him and his brother a PSP, and their dad works at the gas station. Why then does the left insist that I wait until Santa comes this Christmas to get a PSP? The answer lies in cultural Marxism.
6,600 years ago, a man named
Oh,
Yaqub with
actually-
an abnormally large head was born in the city of Mecca.
Oh,
At the time, the only
God.
people on earth were black people. Yaqub was evil and hated the world, so he decided to use his immense intelligence to attempt to destroy black society. Yaqub crossbred the lightest-skinned people he could find with one another, which over the course of many decades resulted in people with lighter and lighter skin. Yaqub died aged 150, but his followers continued his work. Eventually, they created today's white people. The brutal conditions of their creation made them barbaric and evil. These initial white people eventually learned to use trichonology, an unjust and underhanded mind control method that was capable of tricking black people. Their total lack of empathy led to them using tricknology to enslave the very black people who had created them. This is why the proper scientific name for white people is Yacubian. Follow for more insightful scientific videos based entirely on factual information.
Do I support lettuce, grilled bacon, tomato quarter pounders? Of course I do. There's nothing better than lettuce, grilled bacon, tomato quarter pounders. Absolutely.
Let me show you how to scratch it.
I fucks with it. I fucks with it. I fucks with it.
I don't understand why more people don't like me. I mean, I have an exceptional fan base full of exceptional people.
You don't.
I mean, they're one of the only online communities that actually have concrete morals and principles.
They don't.
Why won't
I
the
prefer
broader
those
online left
you don't
accept me?
be hot.
I don't ask.
Okay.
You do.
I'm a good person.
You aren't.
I have such a high IQ.
You don't.
If only people could just listen to how I could be a huge benefit to the broader online political discourse.
They wouldn't.
They'd see that I'm correct
Oh,
on literally
God.
everything.
You're not.
I'm a
Well,
socialist.
So?
For the life of me, I just can't see why people in general don't like me.
I can.
Despite the hewing and crying of children,
I
anarchism
can see
is
why people
not
like Law. She's a
Sigma.
weirdo.
But why? Many say that anarchism and communism want the same end goal and only differ in how to achieve it. These people are straight up yapping. A communist society is organized around a highly centralized means of production and a highly socialized production process that produces skibidi toilets not for exchange, but for use, and is distributed
Oh, God.
according to an economic plan. Anarchists instead wish for a horizontal association of tiny goon caves, participating in small toilet production. This very structure does not allow an anarchist society to manage any large industry, and instead of replacing the capitalist system, has a production closer to medieval communes found back in Season 1. Unfortunately, they are not merely emoting backward, but are utterly yamified in Nike prose. The society of the future will not spawn in or be introduced by Mr. Beast. It will arise out of the old society, out of the relations created by the gigantic goon caves of finance capital. A new order is only possible if it leads to the further development of these goon caves, not their destruction, and revert to older relations of production. Emphasizing small producers will only lead to the birth of capitalism once again, as capitalism was born out of those very same relations. So, anarchists, why so serious?
Bernie was right. The ultra-rich are fucking up society for everyday Americans. That's why I'm proposing a national billionaire hunt. That's right, folks, we're going after the big game. I'm talking about a nationwide manhunt. We're going to bag us some billionaires. That's why I'm running for re-election. Some people might say, isn't this just class warfare? And to them, I say, yeah, it is. But who says class warfare can't be fun? This shouldn't be a red or blue issue. It's time to put on our big boy pants and big girl pants and big they-them pants and say enough is enough. We're going to take back our country one billionaire at a time.
Take the shot.
Let's call it The Purge, Billionaire Edition. Let's finish this job. I know we can. Fuck 'em.
Why, hello, FBI agent. The person who shared this video just wanted to let you know that they were only horsing around. All of those comments, posts, videos that they made in the last couple days that make you think that they're a threat to national security, it was all just a big goof. They're in their silly Billy era, and they would be very sad if you raided their house. They totally learned their lesson and would like to avoid getting a knock on their door. Share this video to totally avoid getting a knock on your door.
What is it you wanted me to reconcile myself to?